How we doing, people? Welcome back to the channel. It's game week 8, Forest 0, Chelsea 3, and it's another sad day for Ange Postecogulu, who sees himself lose his second Premier League job in 2025. Whew. Now, if you was to look at his 2025, you're looking at Europa League win, thinking, great, yes, I've won a trophy. First in 17 years for this club, I've won a trophy, just like I promised. But to lose 2 Premier League jobs in a space of, 6 months? It's not looking good, mate. Especially after all the chat that he came to this Premier League with about how he wins everything. Wherever he goes, he wins stuff. Okay, fair play. He won something with Tottenham. You've got to rate him for that. Finished 17th. Absolutely shocking. And he tried to come out after and say, well, he come out this week and say, well, I prioritised the Europa League over the league. But, mate, that is shocking. He nearly got him relegated. And everybody was telling him that his tactics wouldn't work in the Premier League, etc., etc. He's brought that to Nottingham Forest, and the writing was on the wall. Let's be honest. No wins in 7. This game was a must-win for him. A must-win. And Maresca, who we already know does not ramp when it comes to hiring and firing managers, gave him 21 minutes after that final whistle before it was announced. 21 minutes. Pack your bags, you're gone, mate. He did not fuck around. But 2-0 down, Marinakis had already left the building. They showed it on the cameras. He'd left the building. He was already serving up his termination papers, probably on the phone to Sean Dyche. Apparently, that's who's been touted to come in next. But anyway, that's Ange Postecoglu sacked, unfortunately for him. I don't wish anyone on getting sacked in that, but that is the game of football. No results, you're gone, mate. But anyway, let's start with everyone hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Help this channel grow. We're trying to get to 200 before Christmas. Slowly but surely, we will get there. We're a small channel at the moment, but we do want to get bigger, so help me along the way. And now, what feels like fucking ages after these international breaks that just keep appearing out of nowhere that nobody wants to watch, Chelsea get back to action today. In a game that, let's be honest, Chelsea fans, was definitely a game of two halves, because that first half was fucking terrible, if I'm honest with you. Absolutely terrible. Team lineups: Sanchez in goal, Cucurella at left back, 2 centre-backs of Chalobah and Achampong, James at right back, Lavia and Gusto the centre midfielders, Garnacho on the left, Santos in 10, Neto on the right, and Pedro up top. Now, strange lineup. Very strange lineup. I didn't expect to see Santos in the 10, but obviously he did play an advanced role at Strasbourg, so probably why he's been trusted in that position. Gusto experiment in midfield continues after the Liverpool game, which I failed to notice for 90 minutes. More for me. Fucking idiot. Obviously, I don't pay attention to these games. Whole 90 minutes, I didn't clock that he was in centre midfield. I thought he was right back, just inverting, thinking, why does Reece James keep filling in and Gusto getting high, not clocking on that they're actually in each other's positions that I thought they were playing. Anyway, strange lineup, but when you consider the amount of injuries that this team has, what's Maresca expected to do? Like, honestly, what is he expected to do? Before the game, no Palmer, no Badiashile, no Colwell, no Delap, no Asugu, no Enzo Fernandez, no Wesley Fofana. Has anybody seen Wesley Fofana? Apparently, this guy had concussion and had to miss 2 games. Where the was he today? Where did he go? Did he just not show up today? Wasn't even in the squad. No announcement that he's picked up a knock. Had no idea that he wouldn't be available. Can someone find out if he just didn't show up today? Because nobody knows where he is. And then you look at the players that were doubtful for this game. Caicedo had to start on the bench. Pedro Neto, who managed to start. Santos returning from injury. Lavia with his first start since his injury. Achampong starting off the back of a knock at the Liverpool game where he had to come off. Obviously, he's had a rest from that international break. But this is just like an abnormal amount of injuries that Enzo Maresca has dealt with. Like, how do you manage these amount of injuries? I mean, you look at how much we've spent. Okay, you can always use, we've spent £2 billion. You should have a squad to deal with all of this. But this is abnormal for the first half of the season. We're not even out of October yet. And that list of players is ridiculous. And if you want, you could add the drugs cheating there, Mudryk, if he is. He hasn't. I don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on with that either. That's just been hush-hush. Nobody knows if he's banned. Nobody knows if he's just quit football. Nobody knows if he's still on drugs. Fucking nothing. We do know that he's been pictured in an Uber picking people up, so times must be hard. But what the fuck? Abnormal amount of injuries. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what Maresca was going to do, and I didn't know how he was going to manage this one. But what I will say is that starting lineup is not the one. It didn't work. So let's just not do it again. And hopefully Enzo Maresca clocked onto it like he did in the second half where he made the necessary changes. But that first half, Forest were definitely the better side. And to be fair, we have to be honest with ourselves and say that we were very lucky not like that to go into that second half 0-0 because they had opportunities. We couldn't build any form of momentum. They restricted our play. Their high press, their shape restricted our play. We couldn't find any sort of space. We couldn't win any of our second balls. Majority of the aerial duels that we put in, we lost. We seemed to lack any sort of energy, intent, and it just didn't feel like we were going to do anything with the ball. The cogs weren't cogging. Nothing was clicking. And I couldn't see from that first half how we was then going to go on and win this game, because we showed absolutely nothing in that first half. If you look at the chances that we did have in that first half, which was one, the Andre Santos shot, which went wide, should have scored, let's be honest. João Pedro chipping it over the defence, shooting wide. Other than that, it was wasteful efforts. I think Neto had one which he shot high over the bar. But we didn't really do anything at all. And it didn't feel like we was going to do anything. And it felt like Forest were very comfortable in the game that we were playing at the time. I mean, we started our bullshit, and you know what I mean. Chelsea fans, you all know what I mean when I say that we started our bullshit straight from kickoff. We love a calamity at the back, and Gusto, after minute one, not even looking up, passes to their striker, leading to their first chance. That was shortly followed up with a poor pass from Chalobah, who can't pass out the back, leading to a break. Then we see Lavia losing the ball on the edge of the box. Morgan Gibbs-White picking it up, shooting, hitting the stanchion behind the goal. I think it's called that, whatever it is, the thing holding the goal up behind the goal, holding the net up, sorry. On another day, I'm going to be honest, on another day, yeah, we go into that half-time 3-0 down. If there's another clinical side who's more dangerous than them, who can take their chances, let's say that was Man City, for example, and we gave them opportunities. That's 3-0 half-time, and that's a different outcome. The whole game, different outcome, totally different outcome. So you could say that first half, well, you could say the whole game that we were very lucky that Nottingham Forest didn't have their shooting boots on today, because they had opportunities to really sting us, and we got lucky. But that was basically the first half. Very frustrating. Second best at everything. Midfield for me wasn't working. I thought Lavia today looked very rusty, understandably. I thought Gusto, absolute stinker. Again. You know, this guy's regression needs to be studied. I thought he had a very good Club World Cup tournament, but it feels like he's going back to how he was last year. Okay, he's playing out of position. That's not his fault. But it's the other stuff. It's his touches, it's his decision-making. You know, his touches at times can be fucking shocking, like really bad. And guaranteed, every single game, he's going to be on that byline and he's just going to touch the ball out of play. I just don't understand why he does it. And he doesn't seem to look up when he's passing. Keeps trying his first-time passes without even knowing who's there. Few times he just passed it straight out of play. And I'm losing my head on the stream. And to top it all off, he goes and gets himself a red card. Another red card. That's what, 4 or 5 in 6 games for this club? And we want to talk about disciplinary records. And if there's a disciplinary problem, those questions will come out in the media again this week. Is there a disciplinary record at this club? And we have got one. And it was summed up perfectly by Sanchez in the 89th minute. 89th minute, this geezer gets a yellow card for time wasting. We're 3-0 up. Listen, I know the guy's a bozo, yeah? 89th minute, 3-0 up. Make it make sense. Honestly, when I saw that, I was just like, are we serious? Getting unnecessary yellow cards for time wasting when we're 3-0 up. So there is a disciplinary problem at this club that needs to be addressed. We can't afford to keep having players missing. Now, I'll be real with you at the moment. I'm not fussed that it's Gusto, because I'm actually getting so annoyed with the way that he's playing at the moment that he needs a break. Just have a little bit of time out and think about how you're playing. Anyway, Garnacho, another one in that first half, I thought stinker. I tried to be positive on my stream because some of the stuff that he does do is good. His touches sometimes can be fantastic, but he lost every single one-on-one against Milenkovic. Granted, the height difference played a massive factor in that. Didn't win any headers. The ball kept coming down his side, up in the air, and he weren't winning any of them headers. But even trying to take him on, he couldn't really beat him. He had to cut in all the time. Turnover of possession kept happening with him. And, just ultimately not good enough today. And probably part of the reason why he got subbed off. I look at Andre Santos today and I think, it didn't really make an impact today. Didn't really feel like, although he might win the ball quite high up in the pitch a lot of the time, to be fair, no presence, no impact from that player in that role what you would expect. João Pedro, another one I think was struggling today. Didn't really didn't really do anything. The only players that I'd say that were probably good from start to finish was Achimpong. Thought was fantastic today. Solid in defence, good driving out of defence, pops up with a goal. Reece James, fantastic. Neto, fantastic, who for me, my man of the match. I thought from minute one, this guy showed what he was going to do all game. Driving down the wing, beating his player, cutting in, crossing the balls, taking shots on. He was active today. And he tops it off with an assist and he tops it off with a goal. A lot of Chelsea fans get onto this player for whatever reason, I do not know. But people need to start putting respect on Neto's name because he works his socks off for this club. And, when it rewards it, the rewards obviously come with the work rate. An assist and a goal today. He's won us the game today. Do you know what I'm saying? Fantastic performance for him. But yeah, that's pretty much the first half. Second half, Maresca has to make some changes. I'm screaming for some changes. And he does. In my opinion, I think he makes 3 correct changes. Gittins for Garnacho, Caicedo for Lavia, and Santos for Gui. And the impact from them 3 subs was absolutely instant. Gui straight away setting the tone for that second half. Pressing well, winning a corner. And from that moment on, it kind of, set us up. We was out of the blocks. The system started to tick. The players started to play. We took control of the game. We started creating chances. And eventually, it pays off. Neto down the left. Whips the ball in. Achimpong. Boom. Strong header. First Premier League goal. Very happy for the boy. Very, very happy for the boy. But we didn't stop there. 3 minutes later, Mark Gui. Again with a very impressive impact. Good run. Gets the ball, wins a free kick in a very dangerous area. Reece James rolls it to Neto. Boom, goal. Goalie, I agree, should have done better there, but I don't care. It's 2-0. We're up and running. And that's how quickly the game can change. That's how quickly football can change. Because we went from looking like, we're not really containing Forest. We're just getting lucky to flipping the script, taking control, and within a 5-minute window of pressure, we're now sitting comfortably 2-0. And then after that, it was all about game management from then on. We didn't need to overexert ourselves. We didn't have to rush the game. We all it was about controlling it. And who's the best player to do that? The best 6 in the world, Caicedo. Because I tell you what, I don't want to hear any other name mentioned next to this guy because it's not comparable at the moment. This guy is unbelievable. The presence that he brings into the middle of the pitch, the composure that he brings there, is just second to none. He's a player who it's like he marks his territory. And then if you enter that territory, he hunts you down and he gets it. He's a baller, man. I don't want to hear nothing else about any other player because this guy, what he brings to this side is phenomenal. Couldn't say it properly. You can see a presence there. He's a massive, I'm so confident when Caicedo is on the pitch because even when their team's attacking, you think, you know what, there's going to be one. It's like Kante all over again. We knew whenever someone was attacking, Kante would be there. And I get exactly the same feeling with Caicedo. And to top it off, the geezer can score bangers. So This guy is just a baller, man. I'm so happy that we got him, and I'm so happy we paid the money for him because he's best 6 in the world. Gittins, another one that come on today, I added to the mix. Now, he didn't do anything spectacular, don't get me wrong. It weren't an amazing performance, but the one thing I will say, at least he kept the ball. Stop that turnover of possession that we was getting when Garnacho was on the pitch. Tracked back, you know. There was an opportunity for Nico Williams to put the ball in the net, and Gittins was there, smashing it out of play. Fair play to him. I thought he'd come on and done a job. But for me, out of those 3 subs, the one who made the biggest impact was Gui. Obviously, I rant and rave about Caicedo, but it's normal. But if we see the impact that Gui's come on, surely that doesn't go unnoticed. Surely Enzo Maresca sees that now and goes, you know what? I need to start Marc Gui. It allowed Pedro to drop into his more favoured position in the 10, just behind the striker. And it just opened the game up for us. We started to see more space. So all in all, I was very impressed with those 3 subs from Enzo Maresca. I'm not going to lie, but we'll speak about that in a minute. But after that second goal, Forest made some changes. Callum Hudson-Odoi coming on. Obviously, there's some history there. Odoi being a Chelsea player, we selling him for 3 million. We should have got 50 million from him. I'm still gutted that we sold him for 3 million. I still think that he could probably even be in this team making an impact. But when he came on, very positive impact for Forest. Very, very positive. They started to create chances after that. They had a few more opportunities. Nico Williams, one of them who probably should have scored. There was a nice little flick from Hudson-Odoi to Elliot Anderson, who smashed it across the pitch. That might have been the Nico Williams chance, can't remember fully, but their chances really amounted to nothing. And we were still continuing to create chances within that. And it weren't long before, we took another one. Corner come in, Sells punches it to Reece James, who just passes it into the net. 3-0. That's his 200th game for the club. He gets an assist and a goal. What a player. Captain, leader, legend. We've heard that before. And what a player, that comes in and gets that title. In my opinion, give him that title. Reece James, what a player. And you know what? Enzo Maresca, thank you. Thank you for your management of this player, because you've got him performing week in, week out again. I'm not worried when he stays on the pitch and plays 90 minutes no more. Okay, I am. I lied. I am worried, but I'm a lot less worried because of the management of Enzo Maresca on this player. But we've got our captain back, and it's brilliant. Now, anyway, I want to wrap this up. So there's some key points for me that I think we need to mention about this game, yeah? 3-0, it's game, set, and match. We take the 3 points. And, sometimes when international breaks break up, a good result like Liverpool, it can always be a problem. So going into this game, I really wasn't sure what we was going to do. Really wasn't sure. Now, I said previously that the next 7 games that we've got, 4 Premier League games, 2 Champions League games, and a League Cup game, we've got to try and aim for all 7. All 7 games, because all 7 games are winnable. Forest, Sunderland, Spurs, Ajax, Wolves twice in there, and I think, who's the other one? Karabag, I think it's Karabag. Not 100% sure. I'll check in a minute. But I think we should be aiming for all 7. Now, 7 wins in a row is obviously quite a tough ask, but it's achievable. And if we can do that, we're really going to set ourselves up in the league, in the Champions League, and the League Cup going forward in the next few games. So, big ask, but achievable in my opinion. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's going to be easy. It won't be easy. We might not even achieve it, but we should be aiming for that. But anyway, as I said, few key points to take away from this game. For me, Enzo Maresca is still showing signs that he's learning on the job. Obviously, he isn't an experienced manager, but he's still figuring out what he can do with his team. Obviously, he's had to with the injuries that he's got in his squad. But the first half was an example of that. He's put that lineup out today. He's seen it. Obviously, he was in the stands today, so he's seen it. He's seen the issues. He's taken them out. And I think that's very positive for Maresca. So fair play. For me, that win is all on Maresca and those 3 players, Josh, Reece, and Pedro Neto. Second key point, Marc Gui clearly needs to start because his impact brilliant. And what it does for us as a unit, it just makes sense. Third point, these injuries, man, they're really starting to, fuck up our performances. I didn't want to give it the old injuries. Oh, we got injuries here, injuries there. I didn't want to do an Arsenal like they do every single season. Oh, we've got too many injuries. We can't do anything. But fucking hell, man. The amount that we've got is just, it's not comparable. So whatever's going on, we just need these players back and fit. Someone ring Wesley Fofana's phone and find out where he is as well, because he's gone missing. 4, I'll be honest with you, this one, I don't know if it surprises anybody, but I'm not comfortable with Chalobah playing at the back. I'm not going to lie. I'm really not comfortable with him playing at the back. He's put in some solid performances. Don't get me wrong. Defensively, I think he's been brilliant. But I just don't think he's that level. I'll be real with you. I mean, I saw Badiashile play 2 games recently, and I thought he was absolutely outstanding. Passing the ball out of the back, he looked comfortable on the ball, defensively great. I could see that he was there. Presence. I always talk about presence. Let them know that you're there. If I can see you on the pitch, I know that you're playing well. And I'm starting to feel like I'm losing it with Chalobah, man. And I've obviously got love for him for being a Chelsea blue from day dot, but I'm watching him on the ball and I'm seeing these passes that he gives away all the time, and I'm thinking, come on, man. I can see him being one of those players that get replaced. And I'll be real with you. I think a lot of Chelsea fans that are in the same boat. But yeah, it is what it is. Number 5, Achampong, for me, continues to impress, continues to grow as a player. I think this kid's got a bright future, and I think we should give him more minutes because I think he's starting to grow into a really confident centre-back. I like the way that he picks the ball up and he just drives through the middle. He's very good at doing it, very good at skipping past players, very confident from him today, I thought. He's going to have bigger challenges on his hands, let's be honest, but I thought he done well today. Number 6 for me, I think Gusto needs to be dropped. I'll be real with you. I said it earlier. I've just kind of got fed up with him now. These performances that I'm seeing week in, week out, I just don't think he's contributing, and he's becoming more of a hindrance to the side, which is unfortunate. But, that's the way it goes sometimes. But either way, I don't want to be too negative because obviously, ultimately today, those 3 points, very good 3 points. I'm very positive about it, buzzing about it. 3 points keeps us in the mix. I mean, if we didn't get a result today, you'd have seen all the other teams progress away from us. So, it's a very important win. And now we move on to Sunderland, who are doing really well at the moment. Let me just check the league table because I'm sure they're around 7th place or something like that. Sunderland are on the same points as us in 7th place. So they're not really scoring many goals, Sunderland, but they're also not conceding many goals. 9 goals and 6 goals conceded. So should be an interesting game, Chelsea-Sunderland. I think it's at Chelsea, so I'm expecting us to win, don't get me wrong. But Sunderland have heavily invested in their team this year, and they're 14 points on the board after 8 games. They're doing all right. They're on the same points as us, same points as Tottenham, same points. Oh, that is Sunderland, sorry. They're above Crystal Palace, Brighton, Everton, Man United. When you look at where they are in the league, they're doing quite well. So this will be a good win for us if we can get that. We have to try and aim to get that. We've obviously got the Champions League in between that. On Wednesday, we've got Ajax, so I'll be doing a live stream for that, so make sure you tune into that. But yeah, and then it's on to Sunderland at the weekend, which I won't be available for, so don't expect a live stream or a match reaction that day because I'm going to be away with family. So thanks for tuning in. It's been a long stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next live stream against Ajax. See you in a bit.